the end of the day, they don't control anything. They have their opinions on the outside, but those guys in the locker room control every single day, whether we get better or not, how hard we work, and really just putting the emphasis on that because those are the guys that you're going to ride or die with. What's going on, y'all? This is Naismith with the Sideline Show.
Go on and share a howdy. If we don't bless this mood, we gonna have to get rowdy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? You are watching the Sideline Show. I'm your host, Jackson Prince, and today I have a guest who needs no introduction. He is the leading active scorer in Division I basketball, a top 25 watch list for the Wooden Award this year. My teammate and my good friend, Max Naismith. Max, what's up, brother?
My man, how are you?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, of course, man. We got really, really busy schedules, especially with us being in conference play now. What's that like for you being in your 5th year of conference play?
I mean, it's an exciting time for sure. Conference play is when everything gets real. The non-conference is getting you ready for conference, and so this is when it really matters.
Yeah, so you've been through this a couple times, obviously, and obviously conference play is important. But how important is non-conference play to the rest of your season?
Non-conference play is huge. I mean, it's really your first time kind of getting out there with the guys and playing a real game together. So it's really about learning about each other, figuring out that chemistry, and then kind of building who you guys are and kind of setting the tone for the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously we're in the Big 12. It's our last year in the Big 12, and you're getting to experience that. And we just played an away game at Cincinnati. So with Cincinnati not being a top 25 team in the country, how hard was that game regardless of that?
I mean, it's a beast, man. That's what the Big 12 is, though. You add 4 new teams, and they're all really good teams. And, conference play is – everybody's seen a lot of film on everybody, and they know what everybody's going to do. So it makes it that much tougher, and, it's hard to win road games. You got to be extremely connected together, playing hard, playing with the right mentality to go and get a road dub.
Yeah. So, obviously Texas against Cincinnati, we were the favorites to win that game, and we did. But, do you ever let that kind of sway how you feel about the game?
Not at all. I couldn't tell you if we were favored or they were favored, the big thing is just our approach, controlling what we can control, our mindset going in and just understanding, the mentality that we have to bring into the game, just knowing it's going to be a dogfight every single night.
Yeah. Is that kind of your same approach when you look at us playing away games? 100%.
Approach every game the same way, keep that consistent mentality, that way you're not – trying to turn it on for one game and then, not turn it on for another game.
Yeah. So, obviously, you transferred from Oral Roberts. You were one of the most talked about kind of transfer portal guys. What does that feel like? When you're at a school for so long and you were so successful at that school and then you decided to leave? What did that process look like?
Yeah, for me, it was kind of just looking at the position I was in, kind of thinking about my future and kind of what I wanted the goals that I want to achieve, and then looking at what would put me in that best position. And so I entered the portal and, got some interest from a lot of schools, which is always a good thing to see. Just kind of them recognizing you, but really a testament to, the hard work that I've put in and not taking it for granted, and keeping the same mentality that I had when I was at Oral Roberts. And so, one of the schools I called was Texas, and just being a Texas kid, man, coming back home to represent the home state is just, something that's hard to turn down.
Yeah, for sure. So how'd you end up at Oral Roberts?
Yeah, I didn't have too many options coming out of high school. I had the 3 military academies, Army, Navy, Air Force, then Oral Roberts and Marist up in New York. Yeah. Talking with Coach Springman from day one, the love and the relationship that they show, that we built, the love that they showed towards me, and kind of our goals aligning with one another. For me wanting to go in and, try to have impact on the program and kind of turn it around, put it back on the map, something that I wanted to do.
Yeah. So mid-major school, right? What's the mentality as a mid-major when you're trying to play against, an Arkansas or a Texas? What does that feel like?
I mean, those are your big games. I mean, you get a lot of those in the non-conference for sure. And then, win your conference tournament, then you get a chance to, play the big dogs again, in March Madness. But, I mean, the mentality just, you have a chip on your shoulder. A lot of the guys, they feel under-recruited, feel like they could play, at a much higher level than they're playing at. And, it shows. And so kind of just with the work ethic for one, but then, when you get those opportunities to get on the court, I mean, just going out there and, giving it your all.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember first time I ever heard your name. I think I was like a junior in high school, and you were going stupid in the tournament. I forgot who it was. Maybe it was like Arkansas or somebody. And I remember like looking at like the ESPN stats or whatever, and I was like, Max Abmas, who's like who is this cat? And then it's like, 5'11" guard, Max Naismith, had 30 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, dang, like this dude must really be like that, huh? And then I'm hearing like, oh yeah, he's like gonna be the active leading scorer and like all this stuff. And I'm like, man, I've never heard of this dude before. I didn't pay attention to college basketball a whole lot, but like, what's it? I guess now like me getting to play with you, like, do you feel like old or like what's it look like when you got a kid like me who like watched you in high school and honestly like was a fan of you in high school and like now you're playing with a dude like me?
I mean, it's pretty cool to see. For one, I do feel like I'm one of the older guys for sure. With this being my 5th year, but Brock on our team, he makes me feel a little younger. He's in his 6th year. But I mean, it's pretty cool to see. But being that I've been in college for so long, I mean, I've seen a lot. And played a lot of games. And so, I just understand, and I've been through things that, a freshman like yourself might not have gone through yet. And so, just trying to pass that down, and, just help anywhere I can, if I see like little things that, translate later for sure.
Yeah. So what was your role as a freshman? Was it the same as you are now?
Man, my freshman year, I was strictly off the ball. Just coming in as a freshman, I was going to do whatever I could do to get on the court. It's funny you say that because you could ask my, Coach Mills. He's now at Wichita State, but, he wouldn't have said I would have played my freshman year. So it's it was really just my mindset going in, doing whatever I can to get on the court. And my role was really be a spot-up shooter, knock down open shots, and, come off down screens, flare screens, just playing off the ball the whole time, really. And, then after that was when, my role kind of progressed to being more of a point guard and being more on the ball.
Yeah. So, like, did you always have, like, the on-the-ball stuff in your bag? Or, like?
I think so that summer going from my freshman to sophomore year was, like, huge for me.
Yeah.
Because we lost a lot of older guys, a lot of veterans. And so that point guard role was, kind of wide open. And, for me, just – being, a smaller guard, just understanding that, to take the next step in my game, it would be moving to being more of a point guard. And so, I mean, that was actually the COVID summer. So just working on ball handling, working on, shooting off the dribble, just different things like that, like point guard skills that I'm going to need. Just working on that. And then, going into my sophomore year, just wanted to take that next step of being more of the point guard for the team.
Yeah. So how did your kind of mentality shift from being like an off-ball, purely scorer to now it's like you got to run the team, you got to initiate the offense, everything is your fault? Like what does that transition look like?
I think it was just an understanding going into it because, I mean, I was one of the returners.
Right.
And we're bringing in new guys. And so being one of the returners from the team from last year, just understanding kind of the standard that we set then, and not only, staying at that standard, but elevating it to another level. And so being one of the guys to be able to do that. But just understanding, like you just said, like when it's good, it's on you. When it's bad, it's on you too. I mean, and just understanding that, really being level-headed. I mean, there's going to be a lot of highs and lows, throughout basketball journey. But the big thing is staying level-headed, staying consistent, and keeping the same mindset.
So with that, how much do you listen to, like, the talking heads on ESPN? Like, does what they say affect you at all? Like, do you listen? How do you approach that?
it's outside noise at the end of the day. Everybody has their own opinion. At the end of the day, they're not in the circle in the locker room, with those 15, 16 guys and the coaches and the coaching staff. And so just understanding that. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't control anything. They have their opinions on the outside, but those guys in the locker room control every single day. Whether we get better or not. How hard we work. And really just putting the emphasis on that because those are the guys that you're going to ride or die with.
Yeah, man, that's real talk. And I'm definitely seeing that now because it's like when you're in high school, all you get is the talking heads. Like that's all you see out of college basketball is like other people's opinions. And now once you're actually in it, like I don't know how a lot of other teams in college are doing because I'm just focused on what we got going on what my role is in that. And you didn't redshirt.
No, I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was you're coming in as a freshman. Did you know that you were going to play substantial minutes or was redshirting even an option for you?
I mean, going into it, I was whatever I could do to get on the court. In high school, my AAU coach would always just tell us, you're going to schools where they have, a 20-point scorer or a first team all-conference guy. So what are you going to do to get on the court and kind of separate yourself? And so for me, it was trying to find anything that I could do, which, for me was, playing hard on defense, taking charges, different little things like that. And then, knocking down open shots when I get them. And so just throughout the summer workouts, I kind of had a feeling that I would be able to get some minutes. And then comes first game and, I was starting.
Man, that's big time, bro. That's a little bit of luck involved in that, huh?
Yeah, it is. I think a little bit, but, just kind of working hard too.
For sure.
Because, I guess you never know kind of what the coaching staff is thinking. So you're just doing whatever you can to put yourself in the best position to where you make the decision hard on the coach.
Yeah.
For me, it paid off.
That's real talk. Making the decision hard on the coach. I like players who put it like that. That's how Coach Peavy, that's how he was always telling us was you just got to make my job hard.
Exactly.
I'm like, man, that's good stuff. So you said your role on the team was knocking down open shots, and now you knock down what some people say are bad shots and heavily contested, over those type mid-range jumpers, like the one you had against Cincinnati to win the game. Where, I guess to put it bluntly, where do you get the audacity to shoot that shot?
I think that, over the last few years, I've kind of had a reputation for just being a scorer. And so a lot of times it puts a lot of pressure on defenses. I've kind of been one of the focal points of, a lot of scouts. And so just finding little ways to get maybe an inch over the defense, and, getting to different spots. At the end of the day, I think it comes to it just the player development work and individual work because I understand that people are going to guard me really hard, try to make my life real difficult. And so, in those workouts, just doing everything I can to simulate a game, shooting those tough shots, that are contested. And so that way, when I get in the game, I'm able to knock them down.
Yeah. So I guess last basketball-related question. We're down 1 to Cincinnati with 9 seconds left. You catch the ball on the right wing. Walk me through that play and, what you're thinking.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is just go win the game. Whatever it takes to win, that's what I was going to do. That's what everybody was going to do. And so, get the ball to Double D, end up coming back off of a little DHO action, a couple dribbles, knock down the pull-up. It's just a shot that I work on, that mid-range shot, something that they might not expect, and stopping and shooting a jumper. And so I'm just thinking go win the game, and, it went in, so we all love that.
Nah, facts. And I know you work on that shot all the time.
For sure,
I got to guard you every day in practice, and that's the work. So, did you know it was cash when you let it go?
Yeah, when I shot it, it hit the rim, and I seen it, and it kind of bounced up, and I was like, okay, that's going in.
Them loose rims, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And got the shooter's roll, I call it.
Yeah.
And then after that, guarding that last possession, to secure the win.
So like on that play, because he got off like a half decent look. Did you think like, oh, for a second, or like were you just good?
I felt pretty good about it, just because kind of after I made the shot, just the way we all got back on defense. You got me and DM at first trying to kind of corralling the ball, and then you see DM run over, and after the guy pump fake, then he goes and contests the shot. And so everybody kept playing to the final buzzer, and I mean that's what you want to see.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff, man. I think that was definitely like a good step forward for our team.
For sure.
So I lied. This is the last basketball-related question. Where do you think, with where our team is now, like, kind of what do you think maybe we need to work on more? What do you think, like, we're kind of already good at? Or compared to teams that you have played with and against in the past, how do we stack up in conference play?
Yeah, I mean, for one, the conference is going to be a gauntlet. I mean, night in, night out, you're playing the best teams in the country. And that's what we all came to Texas for. I think that, we're starting to continue to figure out kind of different spots everybody likes, kind of continuing to build that chemistry, which will only continue to get better, the more games we play. And then I think that, conference play kind of brings out the best in you, and kind of shows who you are as a team. How do you respond and bounce back? For us, losing the opener of Big 12 play and then being able to go on the road and win one. And now you turn the page to going on the road again, up to West Virginia. So I think our mindset is going to be huge for us, and really be able to turn the page, win or lose. We're going to have a big game the next game.
Yeah, no, for sure. So kind of moving away from basketball, you're wearing your own hoodie. So how did the Max brand, like how did that happen?
Yeah, when I was at Oral Roberts, actually, kind of the first year NIL, we kind of did a thing with shirts, and it was kind of cool just seeing kind of all the support from the fans, kind of just, playing a home game and just seeing that all throughout the crowd was pretty cool. And, some of the fans wanted to have, and so for kind of seeing it at first, how it looked, kind of wanted to take it a step further and kind of make kind of my whole logo, own brand kind of thing. And, we were able to do that this year.
Yeah, I see a lot of athletes trying to do like a similar thing. Yours is by far my favorite logo.
So I like to hear right there.
I feel like people do way too much when it comes to like the branding and like trying to make things fancy and stuff. I like what you got going on.
My man, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I thought it was funny the other day because Bezo was wearing your hoodie during practice.
Yeah.
And we all just looked over and we just started laughing. Cause
it's simple, man. It's simple.
Yeah.
Kind of conveys his point.
That's love though.
I like it.
Did you always want to have like your own clothes and stuff, or like?
I couldn't say I've always wanted it. I think it's kind of just happened and kind of put me in that mindset over the last few years. It's pretty cool to have.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's something pretty cool to see like fans of yours, that'll have on the merch and kind of represent and support you. It's always pretty cool to see.
Nah, that's pretty cool, man. So you kind of mentioned it, like the NIL stuff. Like you were in college before NIL was like a thing. What, and I asked Asia O'Neal this same question, and she kind of gave us her response on that. Like, what did you think of the whole transition from pre-NIL to Wild West NIL?
It's pretty crazy to see, actually, kind of how the game is changing. You gotta have where you can transfer now and play right away. You got the one-time transfer rule, and actually this year you got a lot of two-time transfers playing now.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see how everything's kind of changed. In a sense, you're kind of paying for players, but I think that schools are still figuring it out. This is its third year, I think. So it's still like relatively new. Everybody's still kind of figuring it out. But it kind of, for like guys that are in the portal, you kind of see their priorities. Like, are they going to a school because of money, or are they going because they want to win? Kind of see their priorities. I think for me personally, being in college without NIL, I know what it's like. Just not having NIL. Then you add NIL and kind of, add a little money to some people's pockets. But I think the big thing for me was keeping the main thing, and that's
Yes.
basketball. And the end goal isn't NIL. You know, the end
Right.
goal is playing at the next level, you know, playing professionally. And so what's going to put me in that best position is kind of how I look at it. And I think, you know, players nowadays kind of have their own viewpoint on it, but it's kind of cool, I mean, just to see just different priorities that people have.
Yeah, not for sure. And, like, it's funny that you mentioned that because I feel like NIL is now such a big, like, for lack of a better term, like a recruiting tactic. And it's like you see players going to certain schools because they pay more, even if they're, like, maybe not getting on the court as much or, like, not winning as many games.
Exactly.
Just pockets are getting bigger.
And that's it's weird to see, but, you know, you kind of see it as, like you just said. I mean, it might not even be the best fit for them.
Right.
And they're choosing, you know, a place because of the money. So it's cool to see. I mean, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, people are, you know, continuing to figure it out.
Yeah. Nah, it's a very interesting space for sure. What do you want to see from NIL? Or, like, where do you think it's heading? Where do you want to see it go? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I like it, you know, because players are able to make money, you know, kind of make money off their name, you know, and get different opportunities that, you know, players before weren't able to get. So I think that's pretty cool. And, you know, as I said, it's really new, so everybody's kind of still figuring it out. But, I mean, you know, just continue to try to find that balance, like, you know, what's okay and what's not.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I'm kind of interested to see how it goes, you know, how it continues to change, you know, over time. And, you know, it's an interesting topic, though.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, I don't know where it's going to go because now you've got, like, federal and state legislation talking about making changes, but then those changes might lead to, like, employment status of players. And it's like, it's a big business thing. So
It is.
Yeah.
The good thing for me, it's my last year, so I don't
yeah,
have to worry about all of
you ain't really got to worry about all that.
Exactly.
So, like, you kind of talked about it, like, making money off of your name. So one of the things that we talk about on this podcast is developing a personal brand.
Yeah.
Which is becoming ever more important in the world of college athletics. I know Brock says it as a joke, but I kind of see it now. You're talking about, he's called you the sweetheart of college basketball. And I think it's funny, but then I'm like, knowing you as a guy and, like, I mean, what do you feel like your kind of brand is as far as, like, how people perceive you?
Yeah, you know, I mean, everybody has their own opinion. You know, I think for me, it's just carrying myself in the right way. You know, representing, you know, myself, my brand, and my family too, and just in the right way. You know, trying to keep a positive light, you know, on that side. And just understanding that people are always watching. That's another thing for me. And, you know, little kids too, you know, they're looking up to me, you know, whether I like it or not, you know. And so really just trying to be a positive example for them, and, you know, continue to do everything I can to show them the right way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's very well put, man. Asia said something very similar as far as, like, people are always watching. Like, where does that mentality just kind of, like, does it just come with the job? Is it something that people are always reminding you of? Like, how do you know that people care about you so much? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the position I'm in right now, I mean, just at Texas, I mean, it's so many eyes watching. You know, it's so much support, you know, from alumni, people around Austin, people around Texas. And, I mean, it's everybody's watching. And even if nobody is watching, you still want to act in a way that if everybody is watching, you know, so that it's just something that is consistent in your life and it's not, you know, something that you know, try to be fake for, you know, or not. And so just being consistent with that.
Yeah. So one of the last questions I'll ask you is, like, when it comes to the identity that you've built on and off the court and everything that you've seen in college basketball, what would your advice be to a guy like me who's very new to this? And, you know, I'll be in college for 4 or 5 years. Like, I still got a long way to go. So what's your advice?
I mean, the big thing is, you know, I kind of mentioned earlier, keeping the main thing for one. You know, with your dreams and aspirations of playing basketball, doing everything you can to get better every single day. Take advantage of every little thing. Always kind of put yourself out there, meet new people, because you never know where those relationships will get you, further down the line in life. And really have a consistent mindset, and same approach to everything. You can't, try hard in basketball and then, not try in the classroom or something. Just keeping a consistent mindset, so that you approach everything with the same mindset.
Got you. Yeah. No, I mean, that's good advice, man. I ask every older player kind of the same thing, and there seems to be a theme going on with, like, just keep your head right, because there's so much outside noise and everything going on. It's like it's easy to get swept up in all the nonsense.
It is, for sure. Being at a place like Texas, it's so much in Austin for one, and a lot of Texas too. So, I think for me, being at a smaller school and seeing what that's like, and now being here, bigger stage, bigger platform, but the mindset stayed the same.
Yeah. So you briefly mentioned networking and meeting new people. Like, how important is that to you now that you're, like, at a place like Texas?
It's huge. The alumni base runs so deep. There's so many people that have come to Texas and have been successful. So, building those relationships, kind of seeing the different things and the different steps they took to be able to be successful, I think is huge. And, it's part of the reason I picked Texas too. Being an older person, coming from Oral Roberts, just being older and understanding that, those relationships are going to, go a long way and it'll mean something later on in life. And so, RT always tells us, you don't come here just to play basketball. You come here, you want to meet people and network too. And, I think the older guys understand that. I think some of the younger guys do too. But, I don't think they understand it like they should though.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that sense of urgency will come along as we get older and stuff.
Sure.
But that's definitely something I'm trying to do now, is, like, just go to as many lunches as possible.
Yeah. No, that's huge. Just you never know who you're gonna meet, and RT always says it could be someone that helps give you your first job or something.
Right.
And so just building those relationships and continuing to build them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Max, man, I appreciate you sitting down and just kind of chopping it up with me for a minute, man. Little bit more sophisticated than locker room talk, but no, I think this was good, man. I appreciate you.
For sure, man. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, of course, dude. I'm excited to see where the rest of the season goes and wherever your career goes. And just know, if you ever need anything, I'm always right here with you, brother.
For sure, my man. Appreciate
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. To everyone watching, make sure that you go follow Max on Instagram. I will have his @ down below in the bio. And just keep watching the Sideline Show, because we have a ton of guests still lined up that I'm super, super excited about. Max is the first of many, and you guys need to keep following Max and just kind of see where his journey goes, because this is a very special dude off the court as he is on the court. And last thing I'll say is, whether you're on the court or you're on the sideline, go with God and always do your best. Peace.